So, how can a simple walk to the sea challenge the might of an entire empire? Well, today we're diving into one of history's most powerful acts of nonviolent protest, the Dandi March. At the very heart of this whole movement was this powerful moral argument. Mahatma Gandhi and his fellow nationalists, they didn't just see the British tax on salt as unfair, economically. They saw it as a sin. And why? Because salt was something every single person needed, whether you were rich or poor. It was an absolute necessity of life. Okay, so what was this law that sparked such incredible moral outrage? Let's take a closer look at what made this tax so sinful. Right, so the British salt law wasn't just another tax. It was a complete monopoly by the state. I mean, can you imagine living on a huge subcontinent surrounded by salt water, but you're forbidden from gathering or making your own? Every single Indian was forced to buy it directly from the government, with the tax baked right in. And this is where the genius of the protest really shines. By targeting salt, Gandhi chose an issue that cut across every single line: religion, caste, class, and it united hundreds of millions of people against one common injustice. So how do you possibly challenge a law like that? Well, in 1930, Gandhi declared his plan, and you have to admit, it was audacious. He wasn't going to lead an attack or a violent uprising, no. He was going to lead a walk. And look, this was no short stroll around the block. The plan was to march 241 miles. That's almost 400 kilometers. To put that into perspective for you, that's like walking from London all the way to Paris. This wasn't just a protest, it was this monumental physical challenge, and it was designed to capture the imagination of the entire nation and really the whole world. Just think about the sheer endurance that required. The whole journey was planned to take 24 days. That's an average of about 10 miles a day, every single day, on foot, under the hot Indian sun. It was as much a test of physical and mental will as it was a political statement. And who was it that set out on this incredible trek? You might be picturing a massive army, but it wasn't. It was a small, highly disciplined group of just 80 people. Gandhi started with his most dedicated followers, this core group whose commitment would basically plant the seed for a nationwide movement. And so it began. On the morning of March 12, 1930, this small band of protesters took their very first steps from the Sabarmati ashram, setting in motion an event that would literally change the course of history. That one step kicked off this 241-mile journey of defiance. And this wasn't just about walking from point A to point B. Oh no, it was a very carefully plotted route, right through the heart of Gujarat, and it was designed to rally the entire nation. The march was this relentless progression, moving through towns and hitting these huge natural barriers. As they passed through villages, they gathered more and more followers. But the real tests were the great rivers of the region. They had to cross the powerful Mahi, the massive Narmada, and the Madola. Each one was a huge obstacle they had to overcome on this long road to the sea. And I just want to be clear, this was not a journey on nice paved roads. We're talking about 5 major river crossings. This was a true pilgrimage of protest, a physically grueling challenge that demanded incredible resilience from every single person on that march. So after all that walking, all those river crossings, and nearly a month on the road, the marchers finally reached their destination. The stage was set for the final act at the little seaside village of Dandi. So you have to wonder, right? What was the endgame? After this absolutely monumental effort, what could one man and his followers possibly accomplish with a single symbolic act against the full might of the British Empire? The answer came on April 6, 1930. The time was 8:30 in the morning, the place was the seashore at Dandi, and the world was watching. And then it happened. After bathing in the sea, Mahatma Gandhi simply walked to the shore. He bent down and he picked up a lump of natural salt. With that one quiet, peaceful gesture, he had publicly and deliberately broken the salt law. But, of course, the story doesn't end with that handful of salt. That single act created a ripple effect that spread like wildfire across India and beyond, completely transforming the fight for independence. The impact was immediate and it was profound. Gandhi's simple act of breaking the law, it was the spark that ignited a nationwide fire of civil disobedience. It inspired countless other protest marches, turning a single act into a true mass movement. The Dandi March became a global symbol of nonviolent resistance, and its powerful legacy is now honored at the National Salt Satyagraha Memorial, right there in Dandi. And that really leaves us with a question that's just as relevant today as it was way back in 1930. The Dandi March really forces us to ask, how can a simple, symbolic act, when it's performed with such unwavering conviction, fundamentally challenge a massive, powerful system? It's something we're thinking about, for sure.